Good evening. The parents of a teenager who died 2 days after being sent home from hospital have reached an out-of-court settlement with the hospital trust. Amy Carter died on Christmas Eve in 2009 from blood poisoning and multiple organ failure. Doctors thought she had glandular fever. Callum Watkinson reports.
Lively, bouncing, the life and soul wherever she was. That's how Amy Carter's mother says she will remember her. Blood poisoning and multiple organ failure killed the 15-year-old on Christmas Eve 4 years ago, 2 days after she was discharged from hospital and told she'd be all right.
The day before, she'd even asked if she was going to die, and they told her that obviously that she wasn't going to, because that's how ill she felt, because that's not like her to be bedridden all the time. That's not her. She's not that type of child.
Amy had been sick since early December and spent 3 nights at Worcestershire Royal Hospital. Doctors said she had glandular fever and sent her home. 2 days later, she was rushed back to A&E and died.
It's the disbelief, because we were told she was going to be okay. You can't come to terms with it, even when you're watching, when somebody's compressing your daughter's chest to try and... She's on life support. You cannot take that in.
The trust that runs the hospital has now paid compensation. Amy's parents say they're owed much more than that.
In one hand saying, there's your compensation, that's it, the end, go away. But they haven't said sorry, nothing. They haven't accepted it.
The trust's own statement says a full investigation was carried out, which found that at all stages of her hospital stay, Amy received appropriate care. What it doesn't say is that the trust agrees with the Carters' lawyers that had that stay lasted longer, Amy would have survived.
The only thing that I've accepted is that if they'd have kept her in hospital, she would have more than likely be still here today.
This settlement marks the end of this family's long quest for answers, but without an apology or an acceptance of fault, they still don't feel justice has been done. Callum Watkinson, ITV News.
2 men have been stabbed in a subway in Newcastle-under-Lyme and are being treated in hospital. Police were called to the subway on Dimsdale Parade West under the A34 just before 7 p.m. 4 men have been arrested in connection with a serious assault and are being questioned. The men's injuries are not thought to be life-threatening. Links made between religious devotion and extremism have been condemned at a public meeting tonight in Birmingham in the wake of the Trojan horse allegations. More than 500 people attended the meeting. Ofsted placed 5 schools into special measures after allegations of an attempted takeover by hardline Muslims and the discovery of government's issues. Speakers said they want to give people clarity, confidence and hope after the Trojan horse claims.
I think the way in which the debate has been conducted nationally through the media and by political commentators and others has been unacceptable, because it's conflated issues around extremism, terrorism, radicalisation with issues of religious conservatism.
It's like it's a witch hunt against the Muslim community for some reason.
I'm concerned that what's being represented in the media doesn't match with the experiences that I have.
I think it's a bit stereotypical from what I see, and there's no real evidence that they found.
Hereford United supporters have paraded a coffin through the city's streets today. They say their club has been killed and have pleaded with the local council to help secure some sort of future for football in the town. Gareth Owen reports.
In mourning, a city which believes its football club has been killed off. Today, fans marched a coffin through the streets, heading for the council offices to plead for help.
We have a set of owners here who've been here for some time now. They've made lots of promises about paying football creditors, paying the players, paying the staff, but we keep hearing those promises and nothing's happening.
The club has a proud history, and until recently had been playing in League One, but it hit financial problems, and in 2012 it was relegated from the Football League. A few months later, it was issued with a winding up order for unpaid tax. Only a lucrative televised FA Cup tie staved off disaster. But the problems kept coming. At the start of June, London businessman Tommy Agomba stepped in as the would-be saviour. But within days, the club was expelled from the conference for not paying a bond. With a winding up order issued by a former manager who still hasn't been paid, things could hardly look more grim. But it's not just the unpaid bills. Fans are suspicious of the media-shy Mr. Agomba. Now, one of the fans' biggest concerns at the moment surrounds this stretch of land just behind the main home terrace at Edgar Street. At the moment, Mr. Agomba owns the lease to this land through his ownership of the football club. But there's nothing to stop him transferring that lease into one of his own private companies, which would leave the football club with no assets and the future even more uncertain. There is a clause which says any sales should be for the benefit of the club, but the fans want that to be watertight. So they headed to the council, which owns the ground, in the hope that it can help.
On behalf of Hereford United supporters, the petition is asking you...
The council leader tells the fans he will do all he can and that he's received assurances that creditors have now been paid.
We're the council for Hereford. Our job is to represent Herefordians. Clearly there are many of them, you've seen yourself, that would dearly love nothing more than to see football continue at Edgar Street. From a personal point of view and a council point of view, that's our wish and my wish as well.
Edgar Street was quiet today. The new press officer here told me neither the club nor the owner wanted to comment at this time. Another troubled day in the increasingly troubled history of this club, and no one's really sure what's going to happen next. Gareth Owen, ITV News.
Grey clouds at Edgar Street. Let's see if there's anything brighter in the weather forecast with Lucy Kite.
What's in store for today? ITV Local Weather, sponsored by CenterParcs.
Hello, so all change with the weather, with heavy downpours spreading through the region, and it's feeling cooler as well. Let's have a look at the radar because we can see that rain that's been approaching throughout the afternoon, pushing north and eastwards. This is what we're seeing at the moment, and when the main band of rain clears, we'll just be left with some heavy downpours for the early hours and tomorrow morning and afternoon. So then, temperatures tonight not dipping too low, a mild night, not as chilly as it was last night. A bit of respite through tomorrow morning with some drier spells, but the heavy showers and the thunder will get going in the afternoon. See you then.
ITV Local Weather, sponsored by CenterParcs.
Well, that's all we've got time for tonight. Don't forget the website, itv.com/central, the news, sport, weather, as it happens there. But from all the team here for now, have a good evening. Bye-bye.